Welcome to Haley's Reading Nook. My name is Haley, and today I'm going to be setting up my 2022 reading journal. I'm going to be speeding up this video just so you guys can see the process and how I set up my journal, the challenges, and the different fun things I've got in store for this year when it comes to reading. Without any further ado, let's get started. Alrighty, so to start, I'm going to grab a black scrapbook.com journaling pen and a metal ruler, and I am going to start tracing over some lines I have already drawn with a pencil. This page is going to be a 2022 reading in review page. So I have got set up here that I'm tracing right now is going to be boxes that I can put in the number of books for each month. So I just have a nice snapshot of what I read this year. And then I've also got format of book, so audio, physical, digital, the type of author, so male, female, non-binary, neurodivergent, LGBT, and I can add to those the genre and then the rating that I gave the books. And then I also have this TBR shelf that is a mock-up of what I have in my bedroom that has all of the books that I own but do not have read yet. So I am going to be adding titles to that as I go throughout the year, getting books, and then I can cross those off and color those in as I finish them. This next page is going to be my book shelfie. So this is going to be a shot of all of the books that I finished this year. My reading goal is 100 books, and I have 104 books traced out on here. I skipped forward because you didn't need to see all those lines and everything. It was a lot of them. So I decided not to really embellish or add any other decor because the 100 books took up everything, and I want to have the option to add more as I go if I end up reading more. This page is going to be an everyday reading challenge. In 2021, I didn't necessarily read every day. In fact, there were some months where I did not. So I'm going to challenge myself to try and at least read something. So as you can see, I am outlining this page in my journal with a different pen. It's a white scrapbook.com. Well, it's a black, but the pen is white. It's a scrapbook.com slick writer pen, which is just a little bit thicker than the journaling pen. And they are both felt tip pens, but just dry really quickly and making these pages just a little bit easier so that you can get all of them done. You can see I made a lot of lines on this one. I am going to be numbering 1 through 31 on each of the sides just so I can keep track of the days. And then as I go through each month, if I finish reading a specific amount, I am going to be adding a highlighted line into each of those days. So the first one is going to be 1 to 10 pages or 10% of an audiobook. The second one is 11 to 25 pages or 25% of an audiobook. The third one is 26 to 50 pages or 50% of an audiobook. And the last one is 50% of an audiobook or 50 plus pages. And those are each going to be a different color. I have yet to pick those colors out. This page I'm working on now is going to be my Goodreads challenge for the year. As I said, I am trying to read 100 books this year. So I set up this numbered chart that I can go through, and as I finish a book, I'm going to either highlight each number or I am going to put a sticker or just decorate it in some way to kind of show how many books I have gotten and how many I have left to do. I actually made the numbers go up to 110, so just in case I did do additional books this year, I have the opportunity to add more if that happens. The next page is an A to Z challenge. In 2021, I did A to Z titles where each book had to start with the different letters of the alphabet. And in 2022, I want to do A through Z authors. I thought that would be a way to kind of figure out and learn of new authors that maybe I haven't read of or heard of before. And I thought that might be a fun kind of challenge for myself. This page is a competition for my book of the year. So a lot of these pages were inspired by either my sister, who is Crystal Idunate. She is a scrapbooker who graciously allowed me to use a lot of her pens, and also by Heba, who is my little journal, who is one of the inspirations of my sister as well. So I got some videos and looked at other people's spreads and layouts that they've done, and this is one of them that I also thought would be really fun to kind of copy and kind of do a competition for myself to see what book of 2022 is my favorite. So in each of those boxes, I am going to print out my favorite book from whichever month we are on, and then I am going to add them to the brackets, and at the end of the year, we're going to narrow it down to see what my favorite book was of 2022. I thought that would be fun. This is another inspired spread. I am a Book of the Month subscriber, and in 2022, I want to cut down a little bit on the amount of books, but also keep a good track of how many I actually get. So I have a backlog that I'm going to be adding to that long rectangular box at the end of the spread, where I can kind of add what books I have and I want to finish this year. And then each month I am going to put in which books I acquired and how many I actually received, and maybe just highlight them and see which ones I finished this year so I can see my acquired versus completed statistics. This is going to be a bingo card that I print out each month. I've got planned to kind of see if I can get the 4 in a row diagonal or vertical. We'll see what I can do. I'm hoping that will give me some good challenges for this year. The page I'm working on now is for my January statistics. I've got at the top, there is a book shelf that has 10 outlines of books where I'm going to add in color whichever I finish that month, which my goal is 10, potentially 10 audio and 10 physical books. I've also got a place where I can show what I acquired and make a list of the books that I'm bringing into my home. I've got where I can put my favorite book of the month, the total books of the month. There is a place where I can dictate which library books I checked out this month and if I finished them, and where I can show if I finished books in an audio fashion or if I physically finished them in a physical book that I own. The next page that I'm working on now is my January log. So where I can put the name of the title, what day I started, what day I finished, and my rating, so I can keep an eye on what I actually did and when I finished books or started them. At the bottom, I'm also adding a place where I can put what type of author there was, what type of genre, just to also keep track, so I can add that into my year statistics at the end and kind of keep an eye on what I actually finished and which genres and everything. This page, I am in 2 book clubs this year. I am part of one with my sister on her Patreon, which is Crystal Idunate, and we are called the Shelf Life Book Club. And then the second book club I'm part of is a Michigan-based one, which is where I live, and it's with a group of friends and family members, and we get together once a month, and that one is the Spiral Bound Book Coven book club. So I messed up a little bit on the what we're called, but honestly, I'm fine. It's okay. We can call it whatever we want. So on this page, I am going to add on the book, whatever we read that month, and then I'm also going to add on kind of my thoughts if I want to do a review or if I want to do kind of a like about the book. So who the author, what my rating, that type of thing. What I'm doing now, I went back to the beginning and I wanted to add my title page. So just in my own handwriting, I wrote 2022 reading journal. The pen that I'm using right now, that I'm going back and adding some of my titles on because I got a little bit far, and then I was going to use some stamping to get titles, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do it by hand. So I am using a brush pen, which I actually can't pronounce, so I'm not going to do that. today, but it is super nice and I really like how it comes out. It takes a little bit of practice to get it right, and I'm not super practiced, but I like having my handwriting in my different journals, and I thought that would be fun and save me a bit of time as well. So you can tell I'm just going back. I'm adding what the different challenges are. So this will be my Goodreads 100. I had my daily reading challenge. I had my bookshelfie and just a couple of other titles. I was just checking that it was drying because I was going to erase. If you can't tell, I also have been erasing quite a bit. Like I said, I did trace out a lot of these different pages, and it just made it so that I knew exactly what I was going to do, and luckily I had a good eraser on hand. So this one, I think I changed my name of this page to my battle for my book of the year, which I thought would be pretty fun. Who doesn't like a good bracket to see which is best? And now we're just going back over some of those other pages where I had left off the title. I will say that with this pen, I am a bit of a messy writer, so you may see some different areas that I kind of messed up, and I'll go back and kind of draw over them. But honestly, I'm okay with a bit of mess, just to be cautious when using a brush pen. If you haven't before, it can get a little bit messy. Here you can see I'm just writing my monthly bingo so that I know that that's what this place is going to be for. And then I have a box that I can add the printed journal card when I'm ready for it. Now we're going to hop ahead to the end of the book. I'm skipping over the other months that I haven't quite traced out yet, and I will be coming back and doing those. This is another lifted spread where I am going to be printing out each title or picture of each book from each month for the different book clubs, so I can see which actual books that we read, and I can see that in a physical way, and I just can add some more fun into the journal. So on the edges, I'm going to add in what book club this is for, which is going to be the Shelf Life book club, and I thought this would be a fun way to kind of showcase our books of the year and use a photo printer that I have at home. This also, I may add at the bottom of the boxes, like what rating I gave them or what date I finished them or things like that, I have a little bit of space in between the boxes that I can add a little bit of journaling each time as well. So then I am adding the title on the sides with that brush pen, and then I decided to add 2022 just to be sure that I remembered it is from 2022. This one I kind of did the opposite way, which made me laugh a little bit when I was going through this video, to see that I started with the title, and then I'm going to go back and trace over all of those lines for the boxes. So this is for my Michigan Base Book Club, that we pick out all of the books each month and we go to different houses, and it's a fun time. And then these last two pages are going to be another challenge and then my yearly wrap up. So I'm starting with my year wrap up where I'm just doing 12 boxes. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in those yet at this point, but I've got from January through December, so I can add in if I have a favorite quote, if I have a favorite book, if I want to do kind of how many books I read, what I'm most proud of. It's just a wrap up that gives me a place that I can kind of add a little bit of journaling or whichever thing I want at the end of the year. And then I have another challenge for myself. I want to read more nonfiction books this year. I want to try and read at least one nonfiction book each month. So I am adding a nonfiction challenge of 12 books. I just outlined these by hand, and then I added a little hand-drawn vase at the end, just as like a fun little self-drawn embellishment onto my journal to give it a little bit more height on there. And I thought that just would be fun, kind of creativity sparking in my head. So as you can see at the beginning, I used the ruler quite a bit. But as my process went on, I decided I didn't want to use it anymore. I was like, you know what? I'm fine with non-precise lines, and I think that's actually a little fun. So I decided, hey, I am just going to kind of freehand this, and we're going to be stuck with what we're stuck with, and I'm okay with that. I'm adding some last brush strokes to make that kind of look like feathers or like a plant, and just kind of add a little bit of life. I'm going to be going back later throughout the months and adding some color and some different things to my journal to give it some more life. I'm just starting with a very black and white and blank journal, and that for me is a lot of fun because then I have a lot to play with as the year goes on. The last thing I'm going to do is box in those months in that last spread, and that is going to be it. All right, everybody. Well, that is my 2022 reading journal. It is all set up and ready to go for this new year. I am super excited to dive into some of these challenges and get lots and lots of books read this year. Hope you found some inspiration. If you did, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more of these types of videos, hit that subscribe, and I will be back with some more. I hope you guys have a fantastic day and a very happy new year, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!